Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I made a video a while back about the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act. Now, this is shall we say, a weakening of the original Muhammad Ali Act from 2000, Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. Okay, and it is the promotion of the new act, which weakens the fighter's position. Is fronted by TKO, the company TKO, Turki Al Sheikh, and at the forefront of TKO's opposition, or shall I say, promotion of the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act, that's the new one, is none other than Dana White. Okay, now on October the 15th, which is, a week ago, roughly, nearly a week ago, the California State Athletic Commission voted 6-0 to endorse the amendment. This is an amendment to the Act, okay, right? And there was, so that's unanimous. 6-0 is unanimous. And again, TKO Group Holdings are the parent company of UFC, which of course we know all about Dana White and the UFC. It was his creation and so on and so forth. And he sold it, to the TKO Group for, I think, $1 billion or something ridiculous. The WWE is also owned by TKO Group Holdings. And they obviously want to to circumvent the original Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act from 2000 to create a UFC-style in-house, league, just a creation, a bubble, a brand, if you like. And they can't do it but if the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act stands, because it will prevent certain business practices which contravene that act. Now, the original 2000 Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, all right, it was written precisely to stop that sort of thing happening. In too much, in-house, too much sort of incestuousness. So, for example, a fighter wasn't allowed to be managed by the promoter's son, because obviously the manager's not going to negotiate with the promoter if he's his fucking son. You know what I mean? And the Ali Act made it illegal for a promoter to act as manager, and it required full financial transparency from promoters and the sanctioning bodies as well. All right, and it was built to keep the business side of boxing honest, more transparent, more visible, to give fighters all the information regarding contracts, and in other words, to give them the power to say, yeah, I'll go with this deal or I'll go with that deal, and then if they sign, they can't go in blind and say, well, someone ripped me off, because they had all the information. It seems perfectly logical. It seems like when you consider fighters' trade is his or her fists, you would think that this would be a necessary thing in any business, not just boxing, but in any business. But the Revival Act would open the door for new unified boxing organizations, all right? And these operate outside the current sanctioning framework. So effectively, one corporation will regulate and promote everything under its own banner. Again, we're talking about that sort of highly incestuous bubble, all right, like UFC, all right? And already there's been talk of, a new belt, and weirdly enough, is it called the Zuffer belt or something? I don't know what the fuck it's called. But there's going to be that new belt, but also with Al Sheikh involved, you're going to get the Ring Magazine belt. So fighters they'll have two belts, which sounds like a lot of bullshit to me, and surely we've got too many belts as it is. Okay. So, and California's endorsement, it doesn't make the bill law, because it still needs to go through Congress, and there are different stages of Congress. It's a long process, as you might imagine. Anything governmental is usually very bureaucratic. But it does give TKO and their promotion of this new bill, a lot of momentum. And I, for one, think this is a very bad thing, as I said in my previous video. I think if you're going to have any kind of, capitalistic system, if that's what you want, there has to be competition. You cannot have a monopoly. And once you get, and although the UFC isn't a monopoly, because there are other organisations that are mixed martial arts, Bellator and others, that nevertheless, the UFC because it's risen to the top. Everyone wants to, or it's got more gravitas than the others, and yet the fighters who join UFC, and you can argue that they no one forces them to go into UFC. Of course, you can argue that. But they are told effectively, you're fighting this person, this is the amount of money you're going to get, and you're fighting on this date. And if someone bails on them, they get a black mark against them. In other words, the fighters have very, very little power. Now, some people will say, I don't give a fuck about the fighters' power. Who gives a shit about that? I just want to see good fights. I've heard that said whenever I've mentioned this sort of thing before. It's been said in my comments sections many, many times. That is a perfectly viable view. It's not one that I hold. I don't agree with it. But you can say that. Yeah, all right. If it makes for the best fights, can UFC, no doubt about it. I mean, I'm purely a casual when it comes to mixed martial arts, but on UFC. But whenever I've watched UFC, I've enjoyed it. The fights are good, and it's been enormously successful as a business, a multi-billion-dollar business. But how much of that money made has trickled down to the fighters? I mean, I went through this in my last video. I got some figures out and went through it. Very, very little money. Very little money goes to the fighters. Okay, if you think that's fair, all is fair in love and war. It's laissez-faire capitalism. I'm a great capitalist, and anyone who doesn't agree with the so-called free market, I personally prefer the fair market. But and if you don't agree with the free market, you're some sort of Marxist. This is unfortunately the level of incredulity and stupidity that some people have. But all right, a lot of people. I wish someone would Google Marxism so they actually know what they're talking about. But anyway, that's for another video. But I don't like the UFC model. I never have done, and I can't stand Dana White. I think he just fleeces people who are dreaming of great things and gives them a few crumbs from the banquet table and takes the rest for himself and his little, chums. I don't like that. I think everyone should get a fair slice of the cake. But we live in this era where billionaires are supposed to be, wise and the answer to everything. It's astonishing to me that people think that way, that, the hundreds of millions of working class people are going to benefit if we give more money to billionaires. It's incredible. But anyway, like I say, a video for another time. But that is, in a nutshell, the situation regarding this new act. They've both got Muhammad Ali in the name, but this new one, the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act, which is a bit of a mouthful in itself, this has taken a step forward to becoming reality and to undermining the original Ali Act. Okay, make of it what you will. Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Please, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate that a great deal. And I'll catch you later. All right, thanks a lot. Bye for now.